Hey everybody, welcome to the webinar today with Beth. This is what, number 3, Beth? Out of
This is
4?
number 4 out of
4?
5.
Oh, 4 out of
This
5.
is 4 out
Okay.
of 5, but 4 out of 4 for the early learning series.
Yes, there it was. So the fifth one on Thursday is a standalone.
Right, on visual supports.
Excellent.
Yep,
Well, happy to have you all here.
I am thrilled to be here. I want to make sure I get the chat up.
Yep, I am going to lock
And
your video. I'm
yep,
going to shut my video off. I'm going to
Mike's
lock.
got the bit.ly up there for this for the slides for today. And we're good. Are we good to go? We're good to
We
go.
are good to go.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. Thank you guys for those of you that have come back again and again. I really appreciate it that you're spending your noon half hour, 45 minutes-ish with me. And today we are going to talk about resources and strategies to support language development and play. My name is Beth Poss, for those of you that might not know me. I'll go through my, come on, advanced slide deck. So for my information and everything, just putting it out there as I do every time, that I currently work as the Director of Educational Programs for Lesson Pics, but this is not a Lesson Pics session, although I will show something in Lesson Pics that's something that can be made available to people afterwards. If you need the, want to get the slides, it's the bit.ly is there. Mike also put it in the chat, or you can use that QR code right on the page. You can find me at possbeth@gmail, on Twitter at possbeth, and again, I am on Instagram, when I finally figured out my first and last name in the right order, at Beth Poss. So just to review really briefly, we've talked about this every time over the last couple of weeks about an effective learning app. The idea that it's open-ended, that it promotes literacy, language, and vocabulary development, that it includes rich, engaging activities that invite a high degree of interactivity and control by the user. It encourages fine motor and gross motor movement, hopefully. I've got a really cute one I'm going to show you that definitely does encourage that gross motor today. It enhances and encourages interactions with adults or peers, and that is what this one is all about, is how we're going to get kids communicating. That it's culturally diverse and free of stereotypes and meets a developmental need. So just to put some information out there, when we're talking about apps in general with young children, but in particular when we talk about for communication, there's a lot out there that says, oh, should you use, should you not use with students, with young students. But NAEYC came out with their policy statement. It's been a number of years already, but they've still stuck with this one, and that with guidance, these various technology tools can be harnessed for learning and development. Without guidance, usage can be inappropriate or interfere with learning and development. But you guys are all here to learn about how to use these tools appropriately. And in particular, when they're talking about birth to 2, it's the idea that using any use of technology and media serves as a way to strengthen adult-child relationships. And that's what we're talking about with communication, right? So how can we use apps to build language? And remember, I told you guys, this is not going to be a session on communication apps. This is a session on how to use apps for communication to enhance, gives you something to talk about, right? So we want things that help us get to vocabulary and turn taking, that expand communicative intent, that help students initiate and imitate language, also encourage that expressive output, support comprehension, and that augment that oral language sometimes, all right? So an important data point to think about is that we know we talked about literacy. That was our first couple of sessions, was reading and writing, but literacy and language are so intertwined. And there was actually a study out by Ohio State University, Logan et al., in 2019 that showed that children who are read to daily, at least 5 books a day, that they hear 1.4 million words more than children who are not read to regularly. So just by being read to, the exposure to language increases dramatically. So of course we need to talk some about how books and reading supports language. So I just want to show you this video. It's courtesy of Kim Rankin. It is public on YouTube, but she was really sweet and explicitly allowed me to use this. I want to make sure the volume's up.
Ryan, what do you hear? I hear a hippopotamus snorting in my ear. Hippopotamus, what do you hear? I hear a flamingo floating in my ear. Flamingo, what do you hear?
And I'm going to pause this just for a minute because I want to point out that expectant pause that she had. She waited. She did some modeling for her son. She was working on that core word of you with him, with this, favorite classic children's book. But then that expectant pause of I modeled, and then I'm going to wait and see what you are going to do. We'll watch just a little bit more of this, not the whole.
I hear a zebra braying in my ear. Zebra, what do you hear? I hear a boa constrictor hissing in my ear. Boa constrictor, what do you give it? Here.
So just again to point out, she waited expectantly, and then the one time he didn't, but she gave him some time, and then she pressed it and modeled and kept going. It wasn't hand over hand. It wasn't, all right, you need to say you need to say you, because that's not what it was about. It was about that engaging experience. But then the next time he did continue. So I encourage you to go ahead and watch the full 2 minutes and 24 seconds of this really sweet video. But we'll keep going on from here. So we talked about EPIC a couple of weeks ago, a week or so ago in our first session, but now I want to talk, and we talked about how important it was from a literacy perspective to have access to lots of books, but now I want to talk about books in terms of that language component. So I'm going to show you a couple of books on EPIC that I've been looking at. Let's go to this one first. Actually, I'll go ahead I'll hit my thing. We want to be able to target core words is one of the ways that we can use books. We can find books that have that core vocabulary that we're looking for with our augmentative communication users, and not just our augmentative communication users. There's a reason that core words are called core words for our AAC users. It's because they're the most frequently used words. So our emergent oral communicators also need lots of practice using those core words, because those words are effective and flexible no matter how you're accessing them, verbally or on a device or whatever. So let's go ahead and take, and this is linked in here, but let's go ahead and take a look at What's Up Bear by Frida Wisniewski and illustrated by Sean L. Moore. This is an EPIC, and we'll just take a brief look about it. So Sophie is going on a trip to New York City. Doesn't the city look big and beautiful? Bear, no, it's big and scary. So we've got a couple of core words already in there. Big and big. We could talk about go and no and yes. And she says, hooray, we're up, Bear. So we've got up. Hooray, we're down, Sophie. And we could talk about go on the plane, and we could talk about that happy and sad or scared, right? All of those, that up and down. Isn't it fun to go fast? I like slow better. So those opposites and that language that we could be utilizing and experiencing with this book. And then talking about the things that we're seeing. They're going to go in the car and look, and what do you see? Okay. It's so tall. We're so short. So that, again, those expressions on their faces. And do you think she likes it or doesn't like it? She likes it. He doesn't like it. Not like, right? We could get to all of that. Awesome. I'm on the bridge or over the bridge. I'm hiding under the sweater. So he likes it. She likes it. Not like. I won't read the whole book. But then we want to make sure that we're not just thinking about core vocabulary, we want to make sure we don't forget fringe vocabulary, because core vocabulary is not the only language we want children to be using. And so this delightful book called I Am Brown by Ashok Banker and Sandhya Parabhat, and I apologize if I pronounced that name incorrectly. But to be able to go through, and again, I'm just sort of reminding you, one of the things I do love about Epic is that, and neither of these were read aloud books. I just wanted you to notice that. Again, I'm looking for those interactions, not necessarily for that child to do it completely by themselves, although, you know, book reading is certainly something we want kids to engage in by themselves, but the fact that we can blow up those words. So let's take a look real quickly with this. Whoops, come on, I just want to turn the page. There we go. I am brown. I am beautiful. I am perfect. So some of these might be some core words. I am, and beautiful might be a core word. Love might be a core word. Friends. But then we can get into some really nice fringe vocabulary. And we could have a page easily on a device that has occupations on it. I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm an astronaut, an athlete, a writer, a singer, a scientist, an actor, an electrician, a president, a prime minister, right? And we could talk about those. And the things here, we've got a little mix of core and fringe. I make, I help, okay, I build, I study, and computers and ships, so all those different things. I'm from, so where, using that core word where, but then being able to go on a locations page. The name of the first book was, it is called, let me go back to the beginning. I have the hardest time. All right, turn the page back. What's Up There? And there's a couple of books from this series that are on Epic. And then the second book is I Am Brown. So again, going to that locations page and talking about the places that people are from. And then speaking, and we could certainly add on here, I speak AAC for our children who are AAC speakers. So again, just some of these different some of these books that we can use to really be rich with our language with children and engage in that reading from a language perspective. The literacy, we focus on it in some different ways also, right? But to be able to use it from a language perspective. So I'm gonna switch over. I'm probably, oops, I meant to have, I had everything all set up and then I forgot and got so engaged. So I'm gonna reconnect my, I just need to reconnect my iPad, but we're going to talk about Pics Kids, which is by Duck Duck Moose, which is one of my favorite publishers. I'm going to show you a couple of other things in here. So let's go ahead and get my reflector app up as I like peer over. There we go. Let's get my screen mirroring going. It'll be just a moment. 1, 4, 3, 0 is the magic code. All right, so let me drag my iPad over. Okay, so we've got Pics Kids, and super fun app. You start off with it by either going to the gallery, but let's take a photo. And you can either take a picture from your image roll, which we could go into, or if there's anybody that is brave and doesn't mind, I could take a picture from the, let's see, maybe I can just see if I can zoom in enough. I can go to the camera and whoops, let's hit back again. I can go, I'd be able to, if I can get zoomed in enough, I'm trying to like zoom in on Naomi's face here, but I think it's going to be too small. So we'll go to my camera roll. That's okay. We'll use one of my dogs. There we go. We'll use Colt. He'll be quite happy to be in there for this. And I'm going to go ahead and it's prompting me. It's like that next is kind of like popping out. It's reminding me what I need to do. So it gives kids that clue. But we could just be sitting there talking about, oh, who's the picture? And am I going to get in the picture? Are you? And the next thing we need to do is draw a line across his mouth. Okay. And then we get to record what he's going to say. So I'm going to go ahead and record.
Record in 3, 2, 1, go.
Hi, I'm Colt. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Woof. But obviously it'd be awesome if we got our kids to do the ones recording, right? So now I can play that.
Hi, I'm Colt. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day.
Yeah.
Woof.
Is that the cutest thing ever? Like the little mouth. There still might be a website out there called Pics, but it had some funky things with it where you had to be worried about, like, you know, ads popping up or, you know, things that people had saved. So this one is totally kid safe. Then I can go ahead and I can choose to put a filter on it or some stickers. Personally, I think Colt looks just adorable with sunglasses and let's see. Before I had a nice, I don't want that. There had been a nice bow tie on here, but we'll just go with the sunglasses for today. And then I can go ahead and hit next. I could have picked a frame for him also. I can download it. I can just play it, or I can download it as a video that I can then send to someone, right? So all of the great language that we could be doing with like dog and cute and glasses on and this and that and my turn and your picture, all of the fantastic language that we can get from this, right?
Hi, I'm Colt. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Woof.
And then hopefully it would be the student themselves, the child themselves recording that if they're able to, right? Whatever it is that they're able to say. So that is Pics Kids. Let me move this off to the side so I can go back to my slide deck. And again, it is by Duck, woohoo, you could really get in trouble there. Duck Moose. All right, I'm gonna show you another Duck Moose app. There's two different ones. And let me find, I wanna make sure I'm like not blocking my, okay, there's the chat. All right, so you can see it all. So we can look at either Old MacDonald's Farm or Wheels on the Bus. Does anybody have a preference? And whoever types the fastest is, I guess I'll just get her if a bunch of people put it in. So we can either look for Wheels on the Bus. We could either do Wheels on the Bus or Old MacDonald's Farm. All right. Abra says Old MacDonald. All right, Old MacDonald works. Let's get this over here. And I should have Old MacDonald. Let's make sure it's here somewhere. Tried to get them all set up in advance, but you know, the best laid plans of mice and men. All right, we'll just go into our, there it is, Old MacDonald.
Duck, moose.
Yeah, like super loud and it's gonna be like really annoying. Okay. I'm going to try to talk over this, but just for a minute because I promise I'm going to turn off that sound for a moment. All right. So Old MacDonald's Farm, as you could imagine, is a retelling of a favorite child song or book. And in it, it's going to go through, it's very, like you could see, it's just patiently waiting. It's not saying I've got to do something. It's not flashing things all over the place. I can do what I want with it. I can make what I want happen. So all that language, dance, chicken, bird flies, right? Barn, right? But I can go into the music part and I can either record yourself so that child can sing the verse, the parent can sing the verse. It could be in piano, it could be in Spanish. And I can go on to the next page when I'm ready. And again, I'm gonna make it be quiet for a second. Oh no, that's me. You get to listen to me. I'm gonna, we'll just put it on a violin. Okay, but you can see all the things that can happen. Until I'm ready to go on to the next verse. And again, for each verse, I can record separately. So it could be mom and child taking turns. It could be two kids taking turns. And again, there's nothing that's forcing me to do anything. One of the things I want to point out is it's so important to allow young children to persist with what they're interested in until they're bored. So often, and I think this is especially true when we talk about children with autism, that we worry that they are perseverating. But I want to talk about it as persisting on what is of interest to them. And as long as it's of interest to them and you can engage in communication about it, you can get so much language. So he's going up and he's going over, he's doing back splits. And that child might stay on this for a while because that's of interest to them. Moo, that cow moos. Now you could prompt them along and say, I wonder what else we're going to sing about, but you don't have to. Okay. So we've got, and I just love how original the things are. We've got, oh, he's going to make a pig. He's going to paint. He's going to paint. Who is he painting? Is he painting the pig? I don't think so. He's painting Old MacDonald. And again, I could have that music going on. I could choose to not. This is Old MacDonald Had a Farm by Duck Duck Moose. Another one in there is, another one that I recommend by the same company is Wheels on the Bus. Let's see if I can pull that one up super fast. So same idea with the Wheels on the Bus app, where it goes on and you've got your favorite kind of things and all sorts of different activities can happen. I have the music turned off, but you'd be able to have that on and have that child recording to it. So all the favorite kinds of things that you can have going on with that app. All right, I'm gonna move my iPad off to the side and see what's next. A lot of iPad movement. Oh, okay, so let's talk a little bit about switch access. We've shown a couple of things the last few weeks that are switch accessible, like Tar Heel Reader and Pictello, and I'm not going to show those today, but Tar Heel Reader games, and I will link, I'll go back in the PowerPoint, in the slide deck rather, and link to Tar Heel Reader games. And that's a little bit different, and it's where you attach a video and you prompt the style, you put in some places where you're prompting the student to activate a switch in order to go forward with that video, and you can put some language on there and some images. PowerPoint you can make switch accessible, but I'm going to go ahead and show you one that is called Switch Kids by Marblesoft. It's one of the ones from that, as far as like the commercial ones that I like, that I feel is a little bit more, it's very simple to activate, but that there's a lot of language opportunities for it. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at, there's 3 games on it. The Funny Sounds and Faces, Bubblegum, Build a Kid. In all of those, there's the ability in the settings to go in and change the background, to change choose the child, the image of the kids in the images here, what you want. There's cultural diversity there with different skin tones, etc. But let's go ahead and look at the Bubblegum one. I have this set so it's random, so it'll come through, it'll phase through different students. So it's, again, they've got to hit their switch. I wonder what's going to happen. I wonder what he's going to do. Let's see. Oh my goodness. I think he's eating. What do you think he's eating? Oh, he's got gum. He's going to blow. Should we see more? So you can think about the ways that we could get language. Yes, it is a simple cause and effect, so to speak, where they're just tapping the switch and the next thing happens, but all of the rich language that we can get from it. It's getting bigger. Should we do more? I wonder what's going to happen. It's so big. It's pink. Is it sticky? I don't know. It's getting bigger. What do you think? Do you think it's going to pop? Not yet. Not yet. It's so big. Oh no, it popped. So again, those opportunities, and then I'd be able to go through and do it again if I wanted to, or switch into another activity. So those opportunities for rich language, even though it's a very simple, switch activated game. So yeah, Itsy Bitsy Spider. There are, as far as the ones from Duck Duck Moose, they have about, I don't know, at least 20 different apps. I like, just so people know, Old MacDonald and Wheels on the Bus are both available on iOS and Google Play, so that you can use them on an Android, you can use them on a Chromebook as well. So just to have that. And Pics is one as well. I think it's also available on Google Play as well. All right. So again, there's lots of other companies, inclusive, that have lots of switch activities, choose it maker, but this is just a simple one. It doesn't take any extra programming, that is very language rich with those 3 different games. And the build a kid is getting them dressed, all of that. Toka Boca, another delightful publisher for apps. And some of their apps are busier than others, but I've got this is one in particular that some of them I personally find way too overwhelming for a younger child, really busy. This is one that I like a lot. And so let's go ahead and take a look at, Toka Kitchen. Toka Hair Salon is also a cute one. And it's one of those ones where one of the versions of the Toka Hair Salon, you can add your own picture to, which is really fun. But let's take a look at this. I'm gonna try to turn the volume down so it's not overwhelming. You choose which monster you want, and so we'll just go with this guy for today. And then you choose what's in the fridge. And so think about all the things. Oh, do you think he's hungry? I want to eat. Oh, it's so dirty. It's very messy, yucky. Which one do you want? Do we want the carrot? Do we want the hot dog? Do we want yellow or red, right? Talk about what happens when you choose one. Oh, I think he likes broccoli. What should we use to cook it with? Are we going to use the knife? Are we going to use the food processor? Are we going to fry it in the pan? Are we going to microwave it? If we choose the knife, we can tap the knife, and then you can see it's a very simple. So one of the things motorically that I like about this app is that it's simple swipes. You can have really broad swipes on it and still be very successful. So it's not taking a lot of serious fine motor control, right? I can add some, I can go back in, and then we can put it on his plate, and we could add some salt and pepper, and that does require a little drag, but I don't have to do anything to turn it upside down. It turns upside down on its own. I'm not rotating anything. And then again, I have to drag to help him eat it. But I want you to notice how it's not making me go forward. It's not prompting me on. That child can persist on that page as long as they care to, okay? As long as you're having interactions, like how silly, he has a banana on his head. We can go back in and continue and go on and get more from the refrigerator. Some of the food he likes more than others. So again, but multiple experiences across that. Another one that I like by them is the hair salon, and then Toka Band is another one that's really great. So one thing that we can, if I don't stop this, it's going to keep there we go. I was going to say it's just going to keep with that music. So I want to talk a little bit about interactive slide decks. We looked at this with our literacy, but I've got one here that is the Hungry Caterpillar. I made it in with lesson pics images, and this is one I can't just give away free, but I just want to show you guys what you can do with it. You can certainly do the same type of thing in PowerPoint with images that you find in other places. But I loaded up my tray when I was back in lesson pics with a whole bunch of things related to the very hungry caterpillar, right? And I have them all ready so that I don't have to go searching for them. I could if I wanted to, if we wanted to have more recall about the book, but we can just talk about it. So I could go in and I've got the very hungry caterpillar, and we can move him along, and he ate the apple, but he was still hungry, and I could have that repeated line on a Big Mac, or we could have it set up on that communication device that he wants more, and yum, 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 and munch, 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 and all of that. I preset these up, but I could be talking with my student about what did he eat next? What do you think he's hungry for? I went ahead and set these up, right? So I can just move him across if I'm on a touch screen. Now, if I wanted to make this completely switch accessible, I could have set up some simple animations, right? I could have insert some animations into PowerPoint and had that animation happen where he's going to the food, and then they would have played it with a switch all the way through. But for this, for a child who has the ability either on a touch screen or with a mouse to be able to do that simple movement, I can get a lot of rich communication, and that student is making the choices, and that student is in control of what they're doing. I can even, so I'm right now just using, depending on how you might have switches set up, if I just use my right arrow button, I can move him to the right, I can move him to the left. So even with it in edit mode, if you can have your switches set up that they are activating the right or the left arrow, with this activity, the student could be making, you would select it, and then the student would be making the movement to move the hungry caterpillar over to the food that they're eating, right? And we could go all the way through and tell the whole story. I wanted to note that I did change the background to black. I wanted that high contrast. This was a good opportunity for that with this one, with this particular story especially. So just to be able to have that, that's one of the powers of, like, when you're creating those interactive slide decks. I could do very similar things if I was using Google Slides as well, or if I was using Keynote on a Mac device, okay? And again, I like it, it's accessible on multiple platforms. I could share this via a file, or I could share it on MS365 or a Google Slide. It would be a shared file, so it's accessible on a lot of different platforms. I don't have to worry about purchasing that app or anything like that. So this is one of my favorite new finds. So this is, we're gonna talk just for a minute about augmented reality and early childhood, because it is a thing, right? So I'm gonna pull, let's get it back up, let me get it up. I'm gonna pull my iPad over. This is my caterpillar by Story Toys. Story Toys obviously has a relationship with Eric Carle because they have a lot of his Eric Carle books and illustrations. And this is an augmented reality app. Hopefully there's enough light right now. So I'm walking around my, let's see, there we go. I'm walking around and see if I can get somewhere with a little bit more light. Oh, it was working great for me yesterday. Let's just see if I'm gonna restart the app. Let me try if I restart the app and see if I'll get, because I had enough light in here yesterday. So my caterpillar is the app. It uses the camera, so make sure it's not blocked. Maybe it was blocked by my finger. It wouldn't have shocked me. Okay, so we're gonna start. Oh, there we go. So now you can see my floor, you can see my feet. Let me go over onto my, I'm looking for those, did you see those little things? I'm like, oh, there it is. I can go down, down, down and find. Now I can either activate it by getting closer to him. I can touch him. So with, oh, and look, what is he gonna do? He ate something. We can go and find other places, and again, if I get closer and closer and see that, I can touch and make things happen. I can keep looking for that caterpillar. Oh, look, there's the apple tree. I wonder what is in there. Again, I'm walking around. You can see me, right? Like, you can see my feet. I am literally like walking around. Oh, and there's the caterpillar. I found him. He ate an apple. Oh, is he gonna go and eat another apple? He did. Oh, I wonder what's in the chest. Let's get him over to the chest. Can we tap the chest and see what's in there? A ball! You think he's gonna go chase the ball? Let's go find it. Okay, I think you guys got that, right? I'm running all over to try to do that. Now he's back at my chair. Really cool app. This would be great, I think, with the wheelchair user, where you could mount it in such a way and that wheelchair user could be getting to follow it around as well. I think real opportunities there for that. So again, my caterpillar by Story Toys. Just a few more slides. All right, so Story Toys has a lot of other apps as well, and let's kind of take a look at one of them and think about it in terms of that, the checklist, right? So I've got two different ones here. I've got that I've got ready to pull up. One is Brown Bear, and again, obviously this company has a relationship with Eric Carle in that they're able to use his illustrations. Can you share the control with my caterpillar app? It's whoever is, so if the child, if you're able to mount that iPad, it's whoever's moving it around. It's the iPad app is moving around or touching it. So it's for a sharing control. I don't think that there is a way to share cursor control from on an iPad. I don't believe so. I think that's something I've seen, but I can double check, but I'm pretty sure there's not a way to share that cursor control on your end. So that student, if you were doing this in a teletherapy situation, that child would have to be directing you and telling you what to do and where to go. Or if they had it on their end, you would be able to, if they shared their screen with you, if they were able to share their screen with you the same way that I am through Reflector app. But let's go ahead and take a look at one more app in a few more minutes that we've got left. I've decided it doesn't matter if I go over a half an hour, and we're just sticking in the 12:30 to 12:45 range. So I've got two here. So does anybody have a preference? Do you want to see Brown Bear, or it's got a whole series of, let me pull this over so you guys can see my screen. Pull it back over. It's got a whole series of, so there's my Brown Bear one, but it's got a whole series of like zoo animals and things that go, my first words. So anybody whose preferences, okay? Abra, you got to choose last time, so let's see if somebody else, you love the repetition of that. Does anybody, somebody said go, things that go, all right. So Abra, because I let you choose before, but we'll go, all right, so things that go. So let's take a look. We're not gonna rate it right now, although it's delightful. It's not quite augmented reality, but it is very,
Things that go. Summer school bus.
it does have different languages.
School bus.
All right, let's open the page, folks. All right, let's try this one more time, because obviously I'm having a lot of success. Let's do it one more time. Okay, there we go. So it's not quite augmented reality in that you're not moving around, although if I move things a little bit, it will do that. But it's more that three-dimensionality. Turn around, thank you. More that three-dimensionality of it, of being able to, right? It's not, I'm not moving things on the screen. So it is just a kind of a glorified pop-up book, but lots of opportunities for language with that, right? I can see more. Turn the page. I do like the fact that there's a real turn the page effect with that. That it does some things, but not too crazy as far as like you can kind of move it around on the table. That's about as like AR as it gets. And that, the cement truck. So, and they have a zoo animal ones that's like this, and a My First Words ones like this. So really nice for, again, for that child who might not be able to interact as easily with a typical pop-up book because of their motor skills, would be able to with this. But we have a minute. Let's go ahead and go back to Brown Bear. So we've got Brown Bear. And I have to say there's some other Hungry Caterpillar ones that are like this as well. I like the fact that it's a very clear, clean background, not busy, so that the students can really focus. So I can tap and so I tap on the screen, the bear comes out. And again, there's no right or wrong. If I don't do anything, he'll just wait, he'll look around a little bit. I can see things, I can make some things happen. I made him turn around, right? I can make him go back and, oh, what does he see? It does kind of highlight there for me that there's something maybe to see. And then as the brown bear goes to see it, there's that bird, and we get to zoom in on him. And I'm just tapping. I'm not doing anything else with the screen. I'm tapping the bird, and it turns into our delightful red bird, right? And the red bird and the brown bear go along on a journey together. And there's a cute little references, like if you notice, there's the Hungry Caterpillar, right? You can see him right there, kind of popping out, right? Okay, but I can keep moving. There's no right or wrong. It's just letting it go at that child's pace. I see the bear. The bird is flying. I wonder what else. Should we make him go? Should we make him walk? Should we make him stop? What do you see? Right? So you get all of that great language. We get those fringe vocabulary with colors and animals. And we can zoom in and get our treasured yellow duck. And it goes, of course, through the whole story, right? I can reset things. There are settings where I can have sound on or off. I can record my own sounds. So that's really nice too for encouraging that language. So I'm going to close that, get rid of that sound for a second, close up my iPad, and go back to my slides. I know it's impossible to just pick one, right? I couldn't just pick one. I had to. So I want you to think about it. What stands out? Would you recommend this or not? Thinking about the apps that you are aware of, the things that you've used, keeping in mind that checklist of what you would utilize. So that really brings me to the end of my session. I have one more on Thursday. It is very applicable to early childhood, but it is not solely focused on early childhood. Mike, would you mind sticking the URL for that in the chat? I don't have it handy off the top of my head, but we've got one more. It'll be on visual, on Ion Visuals on Thursday, same time, same place, same back channel, same place that you signed up before. And I hope you guys will come back one last time. Thank you guys so much for interacting with me on the chat, for joining me here, and indulging me in my passions for early childhood. I'm taking a quick look through the questions to see if there is anything that didn't get answered. But thank you guys so much and have a great afternoon. And I hope I see a lot of you on Thursday.
Thanks, Beth.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, everybody. Hopefully we see you Thursday.
Colleen, no worries. You didn't, even if you didn't engage in the chat. All right.